Okay, so now we're going to look at a graph that's a little bit more straightforward. And we're going to look a little bit more at how to use the slope or the rate of change once we found it. So remember, our first step is still going to be finding our points. Okay, and I would say just find as many as you can. So we want to make sure that they cross at corners. So I see one here, I see another one here, and I see another one here. Okay, that doesn't mean that's where my line ends. It just means that that's all that they gave me. So now remember, my next step is that I'm going to find the rise divided by the run. Another way you might see this is the change in y divided by the change in x. Okay, so let's look at it in terms of change in y over change in x. So if I'm going to use these points this time. Let me go ahead and label those points as well. So the first point I colored in, whoopsies, I want it to be blue, has an x value of -4 and a y value of 2. So that's going to be -4, comma 2. And then my second point that I chose to use has a y value of, an x value of 0 and a y value of -1. So that point is 0, -1. All right, so let's look at this as the change in y over the change in x. So my first y value is at 2. My second y value is at -1. So we're looking at what's that vertical distance from this point to this point. So I would go down 1, 2, 3. And notice that the difference between 2 and -1 is also -3. So my rise is -3 because I'm going down. My run, so the distance between my x values, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So my run is going to be 4. So my rise over my run, or my slope, is going to be -3 because that's the change in my y values over +4. Okay, and if you can reduce the fraction, you do. Now let's think about what we can do to use that. So we can test that by now going from this second point to this bottom point down here. Let's see if it works. If I've done this correctly, I should be able 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3, 4. And that works. So that means my slope works. Now, if I want to extend this line, I just keep going. I go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3, 4. I can put a dot there, and I know that my line's going to go through that point. I can also go the other way. Let's go back up to the top right here. Okay, so now I'm looking right here. And I want to extend my line the other way. Well, when I was going down, I had to go down 3 and over 4. But now I'm kind of going in the opposite direction. So instead of going down 3, I'm now going to go up 3. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you go in an opposite direction, you just kind of reverse your rise over your run to finish connecting your line.